Thanks for sticking with us tonight through all of these remarkable stories.
We have one more story before we announce the winner of the $1,000 for charity.
Now, here's how tragedy can inspire change. So Jenna, the name of the special is Remarkable Women, and you are a remarkable woman, but you're also a remarkable mother, and let's face it, have been for longer than most.
A very long time.
Jenna had her first child 17 years ago.
When I became a young mom, I really had no clue what I was going to be in store for. I didn't even know if children would ever be in my cards, but I had Olivia at 19 years old, and it was her and we just kind of battled the world and figured things out as we went. We really had, we were learning as we went and growing together. And then I had my 3 sons, and I just, I don't know. I live for my children. I do what I do for my kids.
She's proving that for one of her children, Madden, who changed her life dramatically forever.
So I became pregnant with my 3rd child, my 2nd son, Madden James, and I was due in December and had him on December 9th, 2013. And he was definitely a product of my husband and I. You could definitely see the second son in him. He was the best baby. Like, you could take him anywhere, shopping and outside. He was just an all-around good baby.
Like many kids, Madden went to daycare with a provider that his mom initially felt safe leaving him with.
I felt safe. My other 2 children were there, and there was no concerns there, so it was all in all on the outside, it looked well.
One day, she dropped he and the other kids off before she went to work.
On August 6th, 2014, I dropped Madden, Brady, and Olivia off at the sitter's house, and I went to work like a normal day.
She called to check in.
I called to check on my kids around 11:30, and I talked to Olivia on the phone, who was 10 at the time, and how's everybody doing? What are they doing? And Madden was taking a nap, and Brady was playing with the other kids, and Olivia was helping prepare lunch for the rest of the kids there.
Then not long after, she got a phone call that is every mother's worst nightmare.
When you work in a professional business, you don't always get to have your phone on you, but I was so thankful that my phone was sitting right next to me that day, and I looked down and the sitter's calling, and I immediately think something happened with Brady. He was playing, so did he break his arm? Did he fall? What's happening with Brady? And I looked down and I answered the phone, and her first thing she said to me was, "You have to get here right now, Madden isn't breathing."
Her reaction is what you'd expect.
That entire building heard me scream, and I just went running down this long, huge hallway that I felt like was never going to end. And I'm just running thinking, how is this even possible? You don't understand at the moment what could have even happened. You don't think you've never been in that situation before, so your mind's completely out of control.
She ended up driving right to the hospital, where she was met by a familiar face.
And then I remember a respiratory therapist coming in that I've known almost my whole life. She graduated high school with my sister, and she came in and she said, "We have a heartbeat." And so that's really good. Things are good.
Well, it seemed like good news. A lot was still not known.
And still at this time, we didn't really know anything that was going on.
Finally, she got to see her baby.
They took us to an area where we were able to see Madden, and he looked perfect. There was no bruising, there was no blood, there was nothing to indicate that he had been in any kind of situation that could have landed him in this hospital, hooked up to tubes and monitors. There wasn't any explanation visually for what had happened.
But he was still in need of more help.
They mentioned that a team from Syracuse, upstate Golisano, was on the way, and they were going to be transporting Madden to that hospital. And so I think at that point, everybody was like, okay, good. There's hope. There's an outcome to this that's positive.
Then she talked to a doctor where he used an unsettling word.
If Madden survived the situation that he would be completely brain dead because he was without oxygen for so long. So the word if will always ring in my head because it wasn't he's going to survive this or he's not going to survive this. It was just up in the air like, okay, now what do we do?
She did what you do in moments like these.
We just hoped.
The doctors came back with the scans.
They showed us the scans and his brain was completely gray, and that is because he was without oxygen for so long.
She knew what this meant, and it was time to say goodbye.
You know, the nurses, they wrapped him up and they put him in my arms, and I rocked my son to sleep for the last time that day. And it just is not, it's never anything that's gonna go away. It changes, but it doesn't go away.
Even in that moment, she managed to have a thought grounded in others.
And I can remember thinking, I never want another family to ever have to go through this. This is awful. We were living our perfect life and it got shattered and ripped away from us, and we still didn't even know why or how or anything.
Afterwards, she learned from police investigation that Madden's cause of death was an unsafe sleep environment at the babysitter. But through that same investigation, she also learned of an amazing act of bravery shown by one of her other children.
Wanted to do something with CPR because I was told, through talk with the police and everything that my 10-year-old daughter, Olivia, had assisted with CPR that day and emergency response.
She was amazed.
I didn't teach her that. How does she know that? But kids are just so smart and they know, and she responded accordingly, and she's so brave.
Not long after, she wanted to help other people in her son's name.
And I started Heartbeats for Madden, and it was through the Community Foundation, Northern New York Community Foundation, and we wanted to just offer free CPR certification. So we did craft fairs and color runs and dodgeball tournaments, and people heard about us and they donated money, and we just grew. And then we realized that it was a little bit more of a need, and we needed to branch out our mission a little bit. So we became a partner fund of the North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council, and their mission is every woman, every child, every baby. So it really fit for us, and we continued our fundraising there, and still stand today. CPR certification, well, a little tough during COVID, but we still offer free CPR certification. And there's no, if you need it, we will pay for it, because we want to make sure that if you're in that situation, you can respond accordingly.
Now Jenna works for the Victims Assistance Center. Somehow, now you've made this your day-to-day, your 9 to 5. How in the world have you done this?
I can relate to these families on every single level. I can relate to them on, having siblings left behind. I can relate to them on a mother. I can relate to them, families get ripped apart because of this. So I can relate to them that way, but I'm also doing something in honor of my son, because had I not had Madden and had what happened to my family happen to my family, I probably wouldn't be doing this job, because he deserved a better life than he got. And if I didn't say something about the way that he died or how he died, I would be doing a complete injustice to him, because I can use what happened to our family to prevent future fatalities. And if I can save just one baby, then I said I've done my job. And I think Madden would be proud.
Making sure Madden's history doesn't ever repeat itself.
The situation that Madden was placed in is just unspeakable and unfair, and babies don't deserve that outcome.
And preventable.
Very, very preventable.
For more information on how you can help Jenna's mission and continue the work in Madden's name, you can visit our website, which is informmny.com.
The winner of the $1,000 for charity after these messages.